Hey everybody, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show on this Friday, the last Friday of March, I believe, or pretty doggone close. I am super excited to be here with somebody I feel like has stirred a little bit up in our community in such a positive, good way. Super honored and excited to have Elijah Noel on the show. Elijah, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here, Ted. I'm super excited. I've been a fan for this show for quite some time. I know friends who've been on it. I know friends who watch it. I'm excited, man. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited too. You know, it's funny. Our mutual friend Gail,
That's right.
got to give her a shout out. Said, "Have you met him?"
Over
And I
the
said, "I
watch.
have not." But what I love, I have been paying enough attention to what's going on in Winter Park, as we say, Winter Park, and so I loved every second of what you were doing. And we'll
Thank
take a deep dive into that. I want people to know kind of your journey, and we'll talk about politics meet nightlife. I love that topic. But before we do that, they want to know about you, my friend. They want to know your background, kind of your journey on how you got here. So I'm going to take myself off and give you some front and center, and then you give them the 411 on Elijah.
Yeah, so if the campaign was still going on, I would just direct everyone to our campaign website. That way you could find out everything you wanted to know about me. But the campaign's over. I've recently lost the Winter Park City Commission seat for a seat. But personally, I was born here in Orlando, Florida. I moved up north for a little while to Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. My father was opening and closing Walmart supercenters up north. And I came back down here to Florida, where I got my start, I guess, in Deltona, Florida. But then we started commuting to Winter Park, Florida, at the Geneva School, where I finished up middle school, where I matriculated through high school. The Geneva School currently runs K through 12. And from Geneva, I went on to Rollins College, where I represented the men's basketball team. And I jokingly say about when my jacket didn't fit so tight and about 20 pounds ago. Um, tremendously involved at Rollins. I was a career ambassador for the Center for Career and Life Planning. I was heavily involved in student government there, as well as just a kind of a leader in my own right on campus, always empowering students and kind of bridging the gap between students and faculty. Since graduating, well, my senior year at Rollins, I interned for the Winter Park Mayor's office, and that kind of planted the political bug in me. And if you combine that with always having a heart to serve others and give back to the community, especially those who are a lot less fortunate than you get a city commission run in the year 2022.
Let me ask you
Sure.
so many questions, but the servant's heart. Did you grow up in a family that service and giving back to the community was important, or is that something you sort of learned along the way?
It's something I learned along the way. I was fortunate enough to have my mother and father up until about my 16th year of living. And we jokingly say we've kind of had like three different lives in my childhood. We went through a time when my father was with Walmart. We went through a time of, kind of having some money up north. And then we fell on a lot harder times down north here in Florida. Fortunately enough, my parents were still able to put me through the Geneva School, which is an incredible blessing on my life.
Yes.
Basketball and academics I was fortunate enough to earn my way into Rollins College. I'm fortunate for that. I've always had friends, though, at every level, middle school, high school, and beyond, even who have struggled throughout life, have not had a mom there, have not had a dad there. Some of them haven't had either there. And I know how hard it is sometimes, matriculating through life when there's no figurehead to kind of guide
No
you in the right
support
direction.
system, no safety net. It's a big deal if you haven't had that. I understand that growing up with that, not having that kind of safety net. If you have one, you have no idea how scary it can
That's
be
right.
when you don't have one. So let me ask you, what's your profession now? What would you describe your profession as?
Well, I diligently operate in the hospitality sector, but I manage at a few downtown Orlando's more prominent bars and nightclubs. I fell in with a great group Court Street Concepts. Shout out to Kevin Young and Jesse Williams and the whole Court Street Concepts group, those who don't even want to be mentioned.
But what a great group. They're a great group of people. A really great group of people. So that's where obviously politics and nightlife came in. Let me ask you about, it's one thing to have the bug, which you mentioned, a bug for you worked, you did an internship at the Winter Park mayor's office. It's another thing to decide, all right, I think I want to take on public office. I think I want to figure out how to give back in a more public way. Because there's people like me who have way too much of a past, as we say. I will probably avoid out front politics, but I'm always behind the scenes doing something, working with some candidate or some representative that I believe has a great message and a great vision.
Sure.
What was it that you said, all right, I've never done this before. I am going to try I'm going to run for Winter Park commissioner. And why did you choose that particular position?
Well, if you put, of course, the heart and the passion for serving the community aside, it was really a great opportunity. And I've had like we talked about a little bit earlier, a huge support group between my family, between citizens here in Winter Park. I completed a program called Leadership Winter Park here in Winter Park. And that just introduced me to a lot of business individuals, business like-minded fellows, and people who just truly care about the community. And family, business folks, community members, or regular everyday citizens were all just kind of pushing me in that direction. And it's something that I could align myself with, serving at the kind of highest level here in our city and making real change by passing ordinances and laws is something that I can get behind. So it was a great opportunity, and if another great opportunity comes, I would gladly take it.
What is it what about commission though? So let's talk about it, because I think a lot of people get confused. I know in Orange County, for example, which is Winter Park, we have our Orange County commissioners, then we have Orlando City commissioners. Right. And I think a lot of people get confused by the different levels of government, which is our own fault, people. Don't blame everybody else. You can Google it and look it up. Sure. But what did you want to accomplish being a Winter Park commissioner? Was there a tree you wanted to save? Was there a park you wanted to save? Or was there something specific that you're like, I feel like I've got these ideas. I think they would be great if we could implement some new ideas. Where were you at with that, and why that particular job?
Yeah. So Winter Park is my home, and it truly is. I've been here incorporated and living here for the last 10 years. It's really a special place in my heart. Keeping that in mind, the City Commission is essentially a board of governors for the city of Winter Park, as similar as the County Commission is the board of governors for the county that Winter Park resides in, and so on and so forth as you get higher from city to state to national politics. And they have voting rights, city commissioners have voting rights to affect everyday lives of citizens. And currently our west side of Winter Park is suffering at a large level, hugely accredited to gentrification. And currently we have a city commission who are more interested in spending money on pet projects and allocating funds elsewhere when we have a struggling community. When we have walkways and roadways that can be repaired, when we have people on the 32789, the other side of Winter Park, who are neglected and don't feel so welcome. So I was aiming to bring a lot different perspective, and there's so many perspectives to every point, but I was aiming to bring my perspective, my constituency base, and my experience to a commission who is, I believe, a lot like-minded in thinking right now, to the detriment of our community.
I agree. I think that anytime you can interject any kind of energy, and I wouldn't say chaos, what I feel like you did was stirred up some people who were stuck in complacency and the status quo that you were mentioning earlier. You got a lot of, I loved, first of all, your campaign, if I can call it that. you got a lot of people who backed you publicly. Uh,
Absolutely.
and it's interesting because our communities as a whole tend to do business with each other, tend to keep the same people in for 700 years. These are my words, not Elijah's. They tend to get stuck in a rut. And so there is no change. And anytime anybody comes in and disrupts that, to me, it's always a beautiful thing. I love disruption because I think there's no other way to progress without it. How did you get those? Did you tell us a little bit about the process? Because you're a newbie to this. So for you to get the, what do they call it when you get it's not a pat on the back, endorsement
Right.
from so many people in the Winter Park community, I have to tell you, I was blown away by that because those people who gave you an endorsement aren't usually the type that will do it with a newbie. So what was your process like on that? And what did you think? Did you just go out and ask everybody and hope for the best? What was the thought process behind it?
Well, I'll tell you, I was equally as blown away. More prominent endorsements came from some law firms, Lowndes Law Firm. We have Catered Delights here in Winter Park. We have Four Rivers Smokehouse. Mr. Rivers, John Rivers, is a friend of mine. Actually, I went to high school with his children, and we played in the same basketball. Me and Jared Rivers for a small time in high school. It's a blessing, is what it is, and it's a tremendous amount of support from people who genuinely want to see our community here in Winter Park thrive. But it was as shocking and profound and loved as it kind of is taken in by everyone else as well. A lot of people will tell me, oh, I saw your signs on the side of the road, and it was kind of surreal to see your name. And I said, me too. Yeah, I'm as kind of shocked as you are.
Well, it's just a beautiful thing when you have a passion like you do to see that. And then it's one thing to have the passion. It's another thing to have people who believe in you because of your passion. And that's one of the things I found most impressive about your efforts and your campaign is that every day, and you all, whoever helped you behind the scenes, I don't know if it was just you or whatever, I got to give them kudos too, because your message was still positive, which, that's one of the reasons why I'm not a politics fan, because the negativity makes my head spin. But I love that you focused on the positive, and the people who gave you the endorsements were worded in a positive way, and no one could accuse you of being negative in any way, shape, or form. You were talking about what you wanted to change and not about anything else. And I loved that. So kudos to you. What's the plan? What's the next part of the plan? Is there another race you want to get in? Are you going to go super behind the scenes and try to work it that way? What's next up for Elijah Noel?
Well, it's interesting. My heart's telling me, or my mind's telling me, maybe to step away for a while and play my cards in another game, hospitality, the restaurant, nightlife sector. We're bringing a restaurant to Park Avenue, ORO Winter Park. That's going to be coming in the coming months. So my mind's telling me to maybe step away for a second, but I got over 3,100 votes out of about 7,000 something or 8,000 votes there. So my heart is telling me that there is a community out there that does want to see the change happen. The endorsements, the people I receive support from, I'm a huge component of not letting those people down. I'm currently seeking a board appointment ship here in Winter Park. And assuming that works out, I imagine I'll stay around, I'll stay local. And another opportunity arises, I'd gladly take it.
I love your energy. Again, I think it's so important for us to come in. There's one thing where people come in just to disrupt and they're trying to cause chaos. You came in and I feel like disrupted and just challenged. We need to be challenged. We have politicians who are lifelong career politicians that at some point it becomes very stagnant and it doesn't progress with the rest of the world and how they feel. So huge kudos to you and your team. I loved hearing about it. And what I also loved, because I hear a lot of stuff, what I did not hear was anything negative about Elijah Noel. And that is a testament to you and the campaign that you and your people ran, because Winter Park, I love you all, but you can be contentious and you can be judgy and you can be isolationist and exclusionist. And I think that all of us that are trying to make change and really do the right thing in the world, we need to continue to push back. And so kudos to you for giving it the old college try, as we used to say in the 1900s when I was born. Elijah, tell them what the best way for them to reach you is, to learn more about what you're doing in the future, how they can get in touch with you. What is the best way?
Sure. Please, everybody, follow me at Elijah_Noel1, and that's on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And if you see below on the tagline that's scrolling there, that's our website there. I'm also in the music industry a little bit. We have a little bit of a record label and everything we're establishing here in Winter Park. And that's a link to buy our merchandise and otherwise support our artists that we have up and coming. Mecca. He's a pop artist, and he's great.
Got to get him on the show. We love artists on the show.
Absolutely. But yeah, please follow me. I'm easy to reach, and I'm always open to sit down and talk with anybody. We are opening up a restaurant, like I said, ORO Winter Park on Park Avenue. And we're also opening up a sports nightclub in downtown Orlando called Parlay Orlando.
I heard about that. I did not know you were part of that. Amazing.
It should be pretty exciting. Yeah.
All right. So it is Women's History Month, and I'm asking every guest, when I say the word hero, what woman comes to mind first for you?
I think it's ironic that we're on a talk show right now, but I'm going to go ahead and say it, Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah, tell me why.
Strong, competent, sharp, held it together. I've heard some stories even behind the scenes of adversity that she's faced throughout her career. And I mean, I can only imagine as a Black woman getting started in the journalism industry, the television industry, the hoops that she had to jump through. And, you know, with the phrase, she has done everything that we have done in heels, bending backwards. So Oprah is definitely a hero.
Perfect. Beautiful. All right. Elijah Noel, pay attention. He's going places and going to make some changes. I'm super excited to follow your career and your path as you do that. And of course, if you're a restaurateur, nightlife person in town, you got to follow him too. Look at that website that's scrolling across the bottom and check it out. Elijah, you are a joy, Gale. You were 100% right. What an amazing young man. And I can say young because anybody younger than me is probably still a senior citizen. But thank you so much for what you're doing. I love the challenges. I love the fact that we are pushing back on some of the things and trying to make the changes that we all know we need to make. So kudos to you, my friend, and to your team. Reach out to Elijah if you need him or have any questions. You're going to see more of him very, very soon. Of that, I have no doubt. Thank you for what you did, my friend, and what you're doing.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on the show today. Thank you,
everyone. All right, guys. Y'all be